I'm just heading into the Colonial part of the History Museum here in the building called La Alhóndiga in Guanajuato, Mexico. And this is the part of the History Museum that talks about the colonial times, which stretched from the early 1500s all the way to about 1810. 1821, I think, is the original date of independence of Mexico from the Spaniards. And you can see some of the art and artifacts from the colonial era at that time. Now here's an interesting map here that says Ruta de la Plata, which is the silver route. And you see Guanajuato is right here in the center. And I think there was San Luis Potosí was also a silver town, right? So there is... Oh, Zacatecas also, yeah. So there was a connection here between Zacatecas and Guanajuato, and another connection to San Luis Potosí, because silver and gold mining were extremely important to the Spaniards during the colonial times, and they certainly exploited the colonies for their metals and their richness. You can see different, these would be mining implements, right? Yeah, that's what that is. So you can see, I mean, mining must have been a pretty horrific occupation at that particular time. You can see implements that would be used to actually operate the mines. Here's an interesting picture. Do you have any idea what this might be referring to, the horses here?
Well, for cleaning and for do the work, you know, to take silver and gold out of the rock. Okay. They follow a process. And so in this picture here you can see in the haciendas of the beneficio, with the places they clean the...
Oh, this is where they cleaned the rocks and they separated the rock from the iron, from the silver ore and the gold.
So they used to have these mules or horses to do, you know, the work and turn this kind of a crush.
It would crush the stones, yeah.
That's right.
That was done with the horses. And they all had blindfolds on.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't see.
They don't get, maybe, you know,
get scared, yeah.
Or something.
Exactly. So this was a very, very laborious process, extracting the ore from the rock. You can see, I mean, there are some rocks here that are probably some of the minerals that contain the gold and silver ore.
This side you can actually find the fool's gold.
Fool's gold, yes, fool's gold here.
Or this, actually.
Yeah. Actually, the church, I was reading, the church that we went to yesterday, La Valenciana, the altars basically have real gold on them, right?
Yeah, the Valenciana, that's correct. The altar.
Exactly, yeah. No, that's, I didn't realize that was real gold. So this is pyrite. This is quartz crystals and calcium crystals. Marro, I have no idea what that is.
It used to be a tool, like a
it's a tool. Oh, it's a hammer. That's right, exactly. If you look at it this way, I guess it's a hammer. And here would be a picture of some of the old mining traditions. And what is this here? This could be a gold...
maybe.
Yeah.
Plain like fool's gold.
Exactly.
But here you can find some, you know, real silver. How it looks like when it's...
Well, that's what it looks like when it's on the rock. Okay. And here... Hola, señor. Here, muy bien, gracias. Here we see some of the tools that were used, I would imagine, also mostly in mining or in other activities?
Mostly in mining.
Mostly in mining. So, yeah. And some of the earthenware and ceramics that came from colonial times. And what's here? Flujos comerciales. So this is the flow of merchandise. You can see compra de materias. This is prime materials or raw materials coming from the north going to the south. And venta de productos and manufactured goods went in this direction. So that's quite interesting. What would this be here? Do we have any idea? Gentleman on a horse? Pack horse?
Yeah, but the arrieros, it's the name for the people that actually take care of some goods that they transport in their mules.
Okay.
So you can see here on the back the original or the origin of the Guanajuato. The back is Guanajuato, and this is like the old entrance to the city.
Oh, I see. Okay, so this would be basically commerce. Commerce during the colonial times. This woman, I guess, would be selling ceramics, and that's how that worked at that time. We have commercial scales here, all from that time. And then obviously religion was and always has been very important in Mexico. This would be obviously the Virgin Mary. Is this the Virgen de Guadalupe?
No, the Virgin of the Virgin of the city.
Oh, she's the patron saint of Guanajuato. Okay, and here would be the
arms. How do you say that?
Yeah, the coat of arms, escudo de armas de la ciudad. Yeah, this would be the coat of arms of Guanajuato, and underneath we basically have a picture of daily life in Guanajuato, I would imagine, with people carrying merchandise on their backs. And this would be basically a knight with the hat and the sword, and people standing in the doorway chatting. And you can see here some of the tips of the swords or the metal instruments, very intricate, as you can see, at that time.
I actually the first, or when the city was called, I'd say the title of the city.
Okay, so the title, basically the city was awarded city status in 1741 by Don Felipe V, and what was it called? A la Villa de Santa Fe y Real de Minas. That was the original name of the city of Guanajuato. Very interesting. And we have pictures of different important personalities here. This is Spanish King Charles III. He's a Bourbon king, one of the most important people, espíritu ilustrado de su época. Okay, so he was one of the most important personalities of his epoch, and he sent somebody to New Spain in 1765, and that gentleman was José de Galvez. And basically, I guess he implemented the Spanish way of thinking and Spanish way of political and economic administrative procedures into New Spain. These would be some images of colonial knights and military people, obviously on the horse in their uniform. An antique globe, that's what the world looked like at that time. Fairly accurate already, actually. And here are some historical artifacts. This would be probably a page of a book, Essai politique sur le royaume de Nouvelle-Espagne. So this is in French, with an atlas. And here's a picture of Guanajuato. View of La Alhóndiga de Granaditas in Guanajuato. Very interesting. Over here we have some images of the Catholic religion. You can tell some of the monks here and some of the chalices that they used. What is this? This is an interesting piece here. Don't quite know what that is. Yeah. And here are different religious personalities. San Ignacio de Loyola. Okay. And here is a crucifix, also historic. And this would be the facade of the Temple of Jesus in Guanajuato. All right, let me come back to you with another clip.